The Economic Growth Connection of Westmoreland County is proud to honor Dave Hanna at our annual dinner. Mr. Hanna is a dedicated member to both the business community and the civic community, serving on numerous advisory boards, including the Westmoreland Historic Society, Arthritis Foundation, and the Westmoreland Symphony, just to name a few. But more on that later. First, how exactly did Mr. Hanna get to where he is today? Mr. Hanna is a lifelong resident of New Kensington, Pennsylvania. He graduated California University of Pennsylvania in 1971 and started his banking career soon thereafter at Southwest National Bank of Pennsylvania, working on the teller line. He attended numerous banking schools, including the ABA Stonier Graduate School of Banking at Rutgers University and the ABA Graduate School of Commercial Lending at Oklahoma University. He then did a short stint with Merrill Lynch from 1983 to 1984 and then returned to Southwest National Bank as Vice President of Commercial Lending in 1985. He worked in various senior level positions at Southwest National Bank and was appointed president in 2002. After merging with First Commonwealth Bank in 2004, he was appointed president of the Southwest region of First Commonwealth Bank. There, he was responsible for mentoring and coaching his regional teams and developing key customer relationships. Many of his customer relationships go back decades and truly symbolize what it means to be a community bank.
I was fortunate to work for Southwest National Bank, who merged into First Commonwealth Bank, as they're both community banks and very community-oriented. They both supported numerous community organizations and functions for two reasons. Number one, they could, and number two, as a community bank, they should.
Mr. Hanna retired from First Commonwealth Bank in 2010. That same year, he was also chairman of the EGC and served on numerous advisory boards, including the University of Pittsburgh at Greensburg, Penn State University New Kensington campus, Greensburg YMCA, Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation, and was also campaign chairman for the United Way of Westmoreland County March of Dimes, and capital campaign advisor for the Westmoreland Cultural Trust. While advising the Westmoreland Cultural Trust, he spearheaded many projects, of which Mr. Mike Langer is going to describe.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Mike Langer. I'm the president of the Westmoreland Cultural Trust. Most of you know us as the owner of the Palace Theater, and I have to tell you that we are incredibly proud of the Palace's growth over the last several years. But we're equally as proud of the cultural and economic benefits to the community that the Palace has provided. In fact, we had an economic impact study done last year, and they determined that the Palace Theater generates $9 million a year to the community. We believe that makes us the largest cultural destination spot in the county. However, like most live theaters in the country, we typically lose money each and every year. Ticket sales alone does not sustain the operations of a live theater. Therefore, much of what we do is to subsidize the Palace. What we have as a mission is to keep the doors open. Two key components that generate tenant rent are the Stark Block Project and the Union Trust Project. On both of those projects, Dave stepped in and made those projects possible. In the absence of his efforts, neither project would have happened. Had that been the case, the Palace Theater would not be open today.
When asked if there is a cause which is particularly near and dear to his heart, Mr. Hanna responds without hesitation. His work with the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation, or JDRF, means a great deal to him. Mr. Terry Dockenbaugh, another EGC former board member, will describe Mr. Hanna's role with JDRF.
Every day with an insidious disease, type 1 diabetes. It changes their whole life and will continue to do so until a cure is found. The Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation has been raising money for over 40 years to help fund a cure, and we are very close on several fronts, but it takes huge amounts of money. One of the ways we raise money is to have a Westmoreland Walk. I have been involved for 30 years, since my granddaughter was diagnosed. In 2002, we finally hit the $100,000 mark in money raised at the walk. Part of this is from family teams like mine, ours, and part of it is from corporate sponsors. We made slight strides in 2003 and 2004, but in 2005, I convinced David to become our corporate chair. And as you know, David works very hard and has a lot of friends, earned through years of helping others. Our revenues for 2005 jumped to $300,000, but David didn't stop there. Most corporate chairs do whatever they can and then move on to the next challenge or the next need, and that is fine and appreciated. But David is not like most people. He felt a connection with these kids and stayed on for a while. Turned out to be 7 years. Even with his very busy schedule, as you will ascertain tonight, he attended every meeting, every award ceremony, and made himself available whenever and wherever we needed him.
When it came to helping out the community and getting involved, there is no better man than Mr. Hanna. Close friend of his, Commissioner Chuck Anderson, will go on and talk a little bit more about how he stayed involved with the community and how he's helped out our county.
Met Dave probably 15 years ago when my wife and I moved back to Westmoreland County after being gone for almost 40 years. We got involved in a lot of nonprofits in the area as working to try to make the community a better place. And after we were settled in and looked around, Dave Hanna's name kept coming up when things needed to get done. And I always enjoyed Dave. It wasn't just the going to and making the contribution and that sort of thing, but also we would interact socially with Dave and his wife Debbie, who was also fabulous. And the great memories I have are at the Cultural Trust at the bocce tournaments, when Debbie and her team would take on my team, and in most cases she would just constantly trounce us, and in such good nature and such happy times when we look back. So my experience with Dave and his organization, who always stepped up to the plate, is very positive, and he continues to this day.
At the end of the day, Mr. Hanna recognized the importance of the EGC and oversaw the transition from first President John Scavio to current President Jim Smith.
Jim, I'm very proud and honored to have been associated with the EGC, as they have done so much for economic development and job creation and retention in Westmoreland County over the years. John Scavio, as the first president of the EGC, did an excellent job as leader and statesman, as he laid a very strong foundation for the organization. One of John's responsibilities as president was to plan for management succession, and John did an excellent job in mentoring you, Jim. And you have made the transition very seamless and have been doing an excellent job in leading the organization in a positive direction. I remember, Jim, when you first assumed the role as president, your first focus was on the need for workforce development and the STEM curriculum, science, technology, engineering, and math at the high school level. The EGC in Westmoreland County was hearing from local manufacturers that they could not find qualified candidates to fill positions. And Jim, you were the leading force in organizing all the high school superintendents in Westmoreland County to address workforce development and the need for emphasis of the STEM into their curriculum. Also, one of EGC's missions as a state-approved agency is to provide Pennsylvania financing programs, along with coordinating acquisitions of state grants and assistance from the Governor's Action Team. The PETA Loan Program, Pennsylvania Industrial Development Authority loan program, provides for reduced interest rate loans and requires creation or retention of jobs. A little publicized fact of the quality of the EGC's PETA portfolio: when the EGC approves a loan, it assumes a contingent liability in the event of a loan default. In other words, if the borrower defaults, the EGC is also on the hook to repay the loan. The EGC currently has a PETA loan portfolio with an original high credit of $17 million, with the current outstanding balance right now at about $10 million. That represents 21 different loans, 21 different manufacturing projects. It is amazing that no PETA loan approved by the EGC has ever defaulted. That's an amazing track record, especially in light of the recent economic meltdown. I am grateful to have had the opportunity to see firsthand a number of passionate and dedicated individuals working to achieve their organizational missions. As an example, these are a few of the individuals I have had a great deal of respect for and have been able to work with over the years. John Scavia is president of the EGC. Larry Larice, head of the Westmoreland County Planning Department, for his role in creating industrial parks across Westmoreland County. Richard Kaysen, past chairman of the EGC and president of Kaysen Companies Incorporated. Dr. Joanne Boyle, president of Seton Hill University, for how she has transformed that university into the great institution it is today. Jane Houston, for her work at Seton Hill for the Women in Business Initiative and the work she has done for the Athena Awards. Mike Langer, president of the Westmoreland Cultural Trust, for his organization's renovation of downtown properties that have turned into be the hub for the cultural district in downtown Greensburg. Terry Jacobs, president of Pinnacle Oil, for his contributions to Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation and also the Westmoreland Cultural Trust. Terry Dockabaugh for his dedication to the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. Bobby Watt-Gear for her work as Community Foundation of Westmoreland County, now the United Way of Westmoreland County. Nancy Kukovich for her work with the Westmoreland County United Way and currently at Delphi. Judy O'Toole, Westmoreland Museum of American Art. Dr. Sharon Smith, president of the University of Pittsburgh at Greensburg. And Dr. Kevin Snyder, chancellor of Penn State New Kensington, for his work in economic revitalization in downtown New Kensington and opening of the Entrepreneurial Center. This is my short list of people that I have had a lot of respect for. Not only do I admire what they have done, but also the way in which they have done it.